they are now on the edge. They are about to lose everything they still have. People who are now becoming dependent from government, from governmental stimulus and aids and stuff. They need like money to buy food, and if the government doesn't give them the money to buy food, they cannot buy the food. And to me, that's tragic, situation. It's super negative, and I believe no one is talking about this in our space. I'm looking at influencers, and everyone is just saying, it's so nice and everything, and everyone's waking up with a smile. And I wake up and I see like another pump session, and I have tears in the eyes, like in a metaphoric fashion, because to me it's just clear what this just means for 99% of our global population, what it means for these humans. And that's not good. That's very bad. Crypto isn't stronger than it was a year ago, not even like from a market perspective. I'm really certain, I'm sure that what we're seeing, what's happening right now with crypto, right, in particular with the crypto market, that's just a reflection of how weak the traditional economic system and model actually is, and that everything is just like falling apart. To me, this crazy bull run on crypto, and everything from a market's perspective, it's not necessarily something positive, because it for me it's automatically, it's like it's like a hedge, an inflation hedge, right? It's like a short against the entire economic model. And to me, it's something very negative, because these are going to be destinies of humans like me and you. So whenever we see like Bitcoin go up 10K, a lot of us, a lot in our communities, in our industry, smile and are truly satisfied and happy. And I believe we need to look at this a bit like more skeptical in terms to the fiat evaluation of cryptocurrencies. We shouldn't be very happy about this if we really understand what's the background of this crazy rise and why this is like pumping so hard. To me, it's a very, very negative sign, actually. It's something negative that's happening right now. And I personally had wished this didn't happen, right? I personally had wished there is a slow, steady, and stable growth in the market than seeing big parts of the traditional financial system and big parts of our economic model and this architecture collapse and shift over to crypto. It's really, for me, it's like a bad omen for the socioeconomic model on our planet, and also to what is to come in the coming months and years. I don't think we're looking at a funny or a good time. Maybe from a financial perspective, a lot of people in the crypto space will become like millionaires and billionaires and whatever. But this is going to be like a handful of people who will benefit from this. And the society is in my eyes, it's just like making a big loss right now. Structures are falling apart, economics are falling apart,
Hey there, Acapulco. For the next couple of hours, Komodo is going to be talking about a series of developmental updates that are important to the blockchain sector and to our world, globally and financially speaking. The parts that are coming up will be about AtomicDEX, which is a non-custodial, decentralized exchanging application, and multi-coin wallet, all wrapped into one application. We'll be talking a little bit about DEX technology, and that will be directly from the CTO here at Komodo, Kadan Stadelmann, who also gave us the intro discussing global topics and world markets and the current tone around that right now in 2021. Then we will have a roundtable discussion where we have recordings of team members talking about important topics that have been asked and answered by our audience members and by our Komodo team over the past months. And then we will have a segment answering common questions and FAQs that Komodo gets hit with frequently. And some of these may be ones that you've asked about or will be asking about, and some of them may be ones that you're just interested in. We'd like to ask everybody to sit back, relax, and basically enjoy the show. We've gone ahead and taken some time over at Komodo to put this whole piece together so that everybody else can have a little bit more knowledge and information in our blockchain space. Thank you. Welcome to the walkthrough of AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040. What you see up on the screen is the dashboard which greets you once you enter into AtomicDEX. It is a non-custodial, multi-coin wallet with a decentralized exchanging capabilities. All trading happens on-chain, natively on the blockchains integrated into the underlying protocol, the Komodo DeFi Engine. It's multi-coin wallet, the DEX trading tab, a useful address book for adding in your most used addresses, a section for additional settings such as changing your local fiat, support which includes frequently asked questions, links to Discord where live chat happens, our Twitter, and the Komodo support guides, and a notification if you are up to date. A privacy button and a light UI theme as an optional view.
In this presentation, we're going to be looking at a blog post about the release of AtomicDEX 040. So this is a major milestone for Komodo and DEX technology. Based on data from the AtomicDEX stress tests, which took place last December, the Komodo developer team has upgraded the DEX experience for crypto traders and holders alike. So basically in this blog post, we have a lot of information about the new release. And at the top here, you can see a link where you can download AtomicDEX. AtomicDEX is available on both mobile and desktop across a wide variety of GUI platforms. And if you need help downloading and installing AtomicDEX and setting up your wallet, we have instructions and another blog post here linked right here. So let's look at some of the new things you can find in this release. There are several new direct listings available in AtomicDEX 040 Stable Beta. There are over 100 new ERC20 tokens that have been listed directly, as well as several new QRC20 tokens. And one of the new additions is a Komodo-based independent blockchain called Wall Street Bets. There's also Soldier Coin in this release, as well as Crypto Collider. So these are several new coins from the Komodo ecosystem that you can find in the 040 release. There's also new trading view charts for the wallet tab, so you can track the prices very easily. It's just like an upgraded visual experience for everyone. And here's a look at the DEX tab. So in the DEX tab here, you can see the BTC KMD trading pair, but here you can also toggle between various crypto assets listed on AtomicDEX, and you can view all the different markets on the peer-to-peer order books. And finally, we have swap details for an atomic swap between Rick and Morty test coins. So these two particular test coins are in the Komodo ecosystem, and these are the ones that we used during the AtomicDEX stress tests in December 2020. On this screen, you can see details about the swap process. So each atomic swap has all the progress details, so you can actually view it in real time. And later on, after the swap is completed, you can view it from the history tab. You can view these details at basically any time. So here are some of the release notes from the 040 release. As you can see, there are several new features, enhancements, and bug fixes, complete with a lot of nice emojis that CA333 added here. So you can read this blog post and find out all the cool new things in the 040 release. And finally, at the end of the blog post, we have links to AtomicDEX user guides. So this is basically a series of different blog posts where you can learn everything you need to know about AtomicDEX. So we have a brief explainer talking about what is AtomicDEX, talking about how it's a decentralized exchange and a multi-coin wallet all in one application, and just the basics you need to know. And then, of course, we have instructions on how to download and set up AtomicDEX, and then how to fund your wallet and then make your first trade on AtomicDEX, as well as a feature review series. So basically, this feature review series covers all the various features that you can find in this 040 release and beyond. In this presentation, we're going to be looking at results from the 2020 AtomicDEX stress test. We're going to be looking at key takeaways, graphs, and data. So the AtomicDEX stress test took place on December 12th and 13th, 2020. And the number one takeaway from the stress test is basically that AtomicDEX is built on top of a scalable technology and it's ready for widespread adoption. And as a result, we are officially launching the Komodo DeFi Engine. So the Komodo DeFi Engine is the underlying technology that powers various GUI applications such as AtomicDEX. With this Komodo DeFi Engine, you can build your own decentralized exchange and multi-coin wallet rolled into one application. AtomicDEX is just the first GUI application built on top of the Komodo DeFi Engine, but there are also other projects looking to build on top of the Komodo DeFi Engine. And we also have the release of DogeDEX, which will be the first branded DEX that utilizes the Komodo DeFi Engine and this underlying protocol. So here are a few takeaways from the stress tests. So number one, again, the stress test proved that the Komodo DeFi Engine is a scalable technology. During the stress test, we used very minimal infrastructure, and we were able to handle the load from all the atomic swaps very easily. And the stress test measured only 2 independent blockchains, and these independent blockchains were the Rick and Morty blockchains, and they also have their own test coins. We're able to reach 10,000 swaps per minute. And also the CPU resource consumption was quite low throughout the entire stress test weekend. It was around 5% on average, and even the peaks were quite low. The stress test validated that the Komodo DeFi Engine is ready to be used by various projects that want to create their own atomic swap powered decentralized exchanges. The stress test also validated that AtomicDEX is capable of being integrated into IoT devices. So now we're going to be looking at some of the graphs from the stress test that show all the good results we have. So again, CPU consumption of Electrum nodes was quite low. We see the graphs here. It was quite low throughout the entire weekend. The number of participants compared to the 2019 stress test is a huge increase. It's actually 820% increase. And the total number of atomic swaps completed during the stress test in 2020 compared to the 2019 stress test is also quite impressive, a 3,330% increase. And now we look at how the swaps were completed during the 2020 stress test. So most of the swaps took place on the command line interface, but there were also several participants that used AtomicDEX on mobile devices as well as desktop. And in total, there were over 156,000 atomic swaps that took place over this 2-day period. And now we look at a comparison between the very And now we look at a comparison between the various GUI platforms used during the 2020 stress test. So as you can see here, Android led the way with the most atomic swaps, followed by Windows, Linux, iOS, and OS X. So people were making atomic swaps across a wide variety of GUI platforms. And also this blog post looks at all the unabridged raw data. So you have all these graphs and charts above that explain all the details visually. But if you want all the raw data, you can just view this blog post for more details. And finally, at the end, just like every other major blog post, we include the AtomicDEX user guide series. So you can learn everything you need to know about AtomicDEX, how to set up your wallet, how to fund your wallet, how to make your first trade on the DEX, and just an overview of all the various features that you can find on AtomicDEX. Thanks.
Welcome to the extended walkthrough of AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040. Over the next several minutes, we will go over and review the features that come along with AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040 and what this application is and can all do. Once you've downloaded it, you can double-click it on your desktop. This presentation is given on a Windows device, Windows 10 operating system. Once it opens up, you will be greeted by the wallets screen. If this is the first time using AtomicDEX for you, you will have no wallets in this section. However, I have wallets on here, and I will be using the My Komodo wallet for this presentation. After selecting the wallet that you want to enter into, you'll enter your password. The components for AtomicDEX will initialize. And you will load into the dashboard screen. The dashboard contains the various coins that you have balances for. It automatically preloads with Bitcoin and Komodo, and then immediately thereafter loads any other balances that you have already previously enabled. I am now going to go ahead and give the walkthrough features for the various other sections of AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040. Starting with the AtomicDEX dashboard, what you have is a section that gives you a high-level overview of all the coins you have added and the associated balances, the change over 24 hours that those coins have received, a snapshot of their trend line for the past 7 days, and their associated prices, along with where those prices are fetched from. In this case, all of these price oracles are powered by Band Protocol. If you would like to add an additional coin or asset that is not currently in your wallet, you may add any asset that is already integrated into the underlying protocol, the Komodo DeFi Engine. AtomicDEX runs on Komodo DeFi Engine, which is the trading engine that powers the native asset trading capability of AtomicDEX and other DeFi applications built on top of it. If you add multiple coins but have no balances for them, you can also select this slider, which allows you to show only coins with balances. On AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040, our next tab is the Wallet tab. The Wallet tab for AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040 allows you to see and interact with the assets that you currently have inside this wallet. When you select an asset, You will get to choose between send, receive, and swap. These are all fairly straightforward. If you would like to send some of your asset balance somewhere, you'll need your recipient's address, which you can claim from the address book if you've already entered it before. You'll choose an amount to send with a slider that offers the ability to send the max amount available, or a slider that enables the creation of custom fees, as you will need to still pay a minor fee when sending from AtomicDEX wallet. The same thing is true for Litecoin, Ethereum, DAI, Doge, and the Wall Street Bets coin, as given in this example. And with KMD, there is also an additional button that says Claim Rewards. With KMD, there is a 5% active user rewards for users that are holding KMD on AtomicDEX. The minimum required amount to claim that 5% is 10 KMD. It can be claimed once every 30 days at minimum. If you claim it every month, then you will earn 5.1% over the course of a year. If you sign up for the Komodo newsletter, you will get a reminder of this on the monthly, along with everything that has been accomplished within Komodo for the past 30 days. The AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040 DEX tab is a tab where you can go to trade assets natively on their blockchains with each other using the underlying atomic swap technology powered by the Komodo DeFi Engine. You can get to the DEX tab by clicking from the side field, or through your wallet. After you've selected your asset, you can click the swap button, which will take you directly to that asset's atomic swap trading page. From here, you have the options to select the first asset that you would like to trade from and the second asset that you would like to trade to. The trading chart is populated and powered by TradingView. You have a small side window for selecting your sell or buy options. You can enter in your price, the volume that you would like to trade, which can also be indicated by this slider. And then after you do so, you can select the Start Swap button. AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040 also becomes equipped with a multi-order button, which means that if you would like to place an order on the books using 1 Bitcoin, you can then additionally choose to place that order on the books against multiple other assets. When doing so, it allows you to place more than the amount of Bitcoin that you normally have on the books. And the first trade that is triggered cancels all the other ones that are available. This is the DEX trading tab and interface for AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040. You also have the option to look at previous orders that you have placed and the history of all orders done. Here in the recent swaps area, you can see the test coins that I have used previously to show examples of making swaps. Using AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040, we're going to show an example of how to make an atomic swap. If you've never made an atomic swap before and would like to try so, you can do so using our test coins that we provide on AtomicDEX, or you can do so using real assets that you deposit and then trade on the decentralized order books. When you first open up AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040, you will be greeted by the dashboard screen, where you will be able to add in all of the assets that you have associated with this wallet. In order to go grab the test coins that Komodo provides on AtomicDEX Stable Beta 040, you can go to the Wallets tab and you can search for Rick test coin and enable it, and Morty test coin and enable it. This will enable Rick and Morty test coins in your wallet. Once they are enabled, you can go ahead and claim some from the faucet if you don't have some already. You'll select the faucet and then it will deliver test coins to your wallet. In this example, I have already claimed them from the faucet. Then from Rick or Morty, you will go ahead and select the swap button to take you over to the DEX trading tab, or you can select the DEX trading tab from the sidebar interface. From here, make sure that the assets that you have and wish to atomic swap trade between are enabled. In this example, I'm going to make an atomic swap between Morty and Rick. I'm going to buy some Morty using Rick. I am going to select the volume of Morty that I would like to purchase. And the price that I'm going to purchase it, I've already selected from the decentralized order books. I'm going to click Start Swap. And I'm going to hit Confirm to allow this swap to continue. It is then going to send it to my orders. And I will click on this orders just to show everybody the process that is currently going on for the atomic swap. This gives you progression details, an ID for it, and the swap that is currently ongoing. I will leave this swap up and running so that people can see the steps that are taken, because this is an actual atomic swap in progress. This is a very secure way of trading assets in a non-custodial manner. If at any time during this trade I were to cancel or the other party were to cancel, we would either both get our assets back, or the trade would already have been finished and we would get the assets that we were trying to trade for. This process is secured against the Bitcoin blockchain hash rate using Komodo's decentralized proof of work technology. And we can see that it's continuing to complete. Where this swap will be completed very soon as the taker payment is spent and the maker payment is spent. Atomic swaps go through a series of processes to negotiate the swap and make sure that it is successful, and to make sure that it all happens in a non-custodial way. No proxy tokens, all native blockchain asset trading. Now that it has completed, it will be located in my history where I can go inspect it if I would like to. It shows me that the swap is successful and the rest of the information associated with it.
Today we're going to be looking at how to use AtomicDEX on mobile, and this is specifically AtomicDEX on iOS. So I'm going to click the AtomicDEX app here to start. I want to create a new wallet, so I click Create a Wallet. I name my wallet, so I'm going to give it a good name like AtomicDEX Wallet. Now I see my seed phrase here. I need to copy this and save it to my notes. And I need to make sure that I back up my seed before proceeding. I click Next. Need to find the fifth word from my seed phrase. Enter and click Continue. I need to find the second word from my seed phrase. I click Continue. Now I need to find the 11th word. I find it and I click Continue. Now I need to create a password. I need to make sure the passwords match. I'll click Confirm Password. And here I'll find the disclaimer in terms of service. You can read through all this information here. And after you've read through everything, click Accept EULA, Accept Terms and Conditions, click Next. Now you need to enter a PIN code. And now you need to confirm the PIN code to get started. And now you can see this is your wallet. And now you can see this is your wallet. So currently I have a balance of 0 KMD. Actually I have a balance of 0 across all the different assets. But I can see there are several assets already listed here. And I see the Rick and Morty test coins. And I can actually receive Rick and Morty test coins directly into my AtomicDEX wallet by clicking the faucet button. So let's do that. I'll click faucet and I see a success message. So within 5 minutes, I'm going to receive Morty. And I can do the same for Rick. And I see success there. And then pretty soon, my balances will be updated. As you can see here, now I have 7.77 Morty. And pretty soon I'll have the same amount in Rick. And let's say I want to make a trade. I go here and I select a coin. I already have Morty, so I want to do that. I want to click on amount I want to sell. I'm going to sell 1. I'm going to select a coin I want to return. In this case, I want to select Rick. So I see it here on the order book. And actually see all the various orders already being placed. I'm going to click one. I'm going to select it. I want to trade 1 for 1 between Rick and Morty. So I want 1 Rick for my Morty. I'm going to click trade. And here I see the details about how I can add Komodo's DeFi security, which is delayed proof of work. It's just like a more secure way to make trades and make transactions on the blockchain. In this case, I just want to click confirm because they're test coins.
Swap in progress.
And now I'm going through the atomic swap process on the app. And as you can see here, now I'm in step 1 of 3, order matched, and I can view more trade details below, such as the amount that I'm swapping as well as the swap ID, and I can add my own notes. Additionally, I can see the progress details here. So I see the total and all the various details. And you can see the atomic swap is actually
swap in
really
progress.
Fast. And it's going through at the moment. Now I'm already to step 2 of 3. Now I can see no orders, please go to trade. So I know that the atomic swap has been completed. So if I go to the portfolio tab, now I can see that the balance is updating at the moment. Yes, here we go. So you can see I have less Morty now and I have more Rick. And the atomic swap has completed. I can go to the orders here at the top. I can click history and I can see all the details whenever I want to. I see, yes, the trade has completed successfully. And I can view all the progress details from here. And the AtomicDEX app for mobile has all kind of different settings here. So you can turn on or turn off the sound. You can even change the language. Let's say I want to change the language here. And then the app just changes all the different tabs to whatever language you select from this dropdown. I can also use this currency toggle here, and I can basically choose to select prices to be viewed in whatever currency that I want to, whatever national fiat currency here. Let's say I want euros. Now everything is listed in euros here. I'm going to change it back to dollars for now, and also have a hide balance feature here. So basically I can hide my balance when I'm using the wallet for better privacy. And I can turn that off whenever I want to. And then I can see all of my balances once again. And there's also an address book, so you can add various addresses that you want to for various coins listed on AtomicDEX. Let's say I want to add a Bitcoin address. And I just select it here, and then I could copy and paste the address if I wanted to, or I could even scan a QR code and add it that way. But I don't want to do that for now. Exit and discard. I'll go back here. And there are several other settings that you can change here. You can change your PIN code. You can change the camouflage PIN. You can activate PIN protection, biometric protection, and so on. I can even view my seed phrase that I created earlier. I just need to enter in my password that I created. And I can also check for updates as well. So whenever there's a new release of AtomicDEX, I can view it directly here from the app. And I can also find all of the new features, enhancements, and fixes that have been added in the latest release. There's a help button here. I can click this and I can get frequently asked questions if I have questions about AtomicDEX. And I can also find the Komodo support here. So I'll click on this button and I'm directed to Discord, where I can ask someone from the Komodo team for help. And then of course I can log out whenever I want to. So I want to log out now. And I can view the various other wallets that I have already created here. So I can easily change between wallets here. And if I have another wallet that I want to import, for example, from AtomicDEX on desktop, I can just click restore here. I can name the wallet, actually give it a new name, and just add the seed phrase that already exists. And then I could import the wallet if I wanted to. So basically that's a feature review of everything you can find on AtomicDEX for mobile. Be sure to check it out. You can find it on atomicdex.io or the wallets page on komodoplatform.com. Thanks.
Perfect. So some of the community has seen that we have promoted something called the DogeDEX. And a lot of people have questions of why we're doing this. What is the DogeDEX? And just to answer some of those questions, the DogeDEX was actually built using the AtomicDEX stack. So we're using the AtomicDEX network. We are using the AtomicDEX graphical interface. And what we've done is that we have branded it for the Doge community. What we're doing is that we're removing barriers for other communities to actually use this technology and make it their own. For example, a Doge user will be more weary of using the DEX if we call it the Komodo DEX, because now they have to understand what Komodo is, why do we need to use this for Doge. But if we name it the DogeDEX, if we make it towards the Doge community, and explain that fees are paid in Doge, then it becomes something that's theirs, and they're more likely to use it. And that's what we have done, and it has worked. We see the interaction that we're getting from the Doge community. The Doge developers are actually giving us feedback on how to improve the DEX. And not only that, we actually have been able to negotiate a different DEX, the DEX, which will be developed in the coming months and will be released. And it's the same idea. It is a branded DEX that is using the Komodo technology. And the beautiful thing about it is that not only does it let a project build on Komodo and make the application and the network their own, but it benefits every single variation of the DEX that we launch on AtomicDEX network. So for example, all of the liquidity on the DogeDEX will be available on the AtomicDEX graphical interface, and it will be available on the DEX graphical interface and all of the other DEX variations that will be launched in the coming years. That really is the whole idea of the branded DEX, and I think it nails on the head of what Komodo is trying to do, which is build an agnostic platform that anybody can use. Also, it gives us a lot of outreach outside of the Komodo ecosystem, which is quite small when we compare it, for example, to the community of Doge, or communities of larger projects that are 10 or 20 times as large as Komodo, it gives us a lot of outreach towards those communities, and it gives us another level of collaboration with them. For example, the Doge developers are actually able to use the AtomicDEX API to build out their own applications, to build out layer 2 solutions on the AtomicDEX network. They can use our SPV infrastructure to connect their mobile wallets to it. So there's a lot more going on than just the branded DEX, but that's basically the gist of it. So if any project is interested in launching their own DEX or being added to the DEX, reach out to us, go to AtomicDEX.io, you click join us, fill out the sheet, and we'll get the message and we'll get back to you.
When we come back from the break, we'll be hearing from Kadan, CA333 Stadelmann, answering various questions about blockchain technology, the industry behind it, atomic swap technology, the Komodo DeFi Engine, and the vision behind it, as well as the stress test that happened for AtomicDEX during December 12th and 13th at the end of 2020. If you ever wanted to learn a little bit more about blockchain technology, then refresh your drink, refill your plate, and this is your chance to get a little bit more info and go down that rabbit hole just a touch more. Be back soon.
for you. Freedom! Keep your ear to the ground. Talking about the freedom. It's the best show in town. Best show in town. Freedom! Well. Everybody, young, old, all you lovers, this is our time to rise back from the sand and claim our freedom. Talking about the freedom, got to Let yourself be free. I give you freedom. Yes, it's right. Freedom. Start right now. Talking about the freedom. Get your freedom tonight. Freedom. I give you freedom. Yes, it's right. Freedom. Let yourself be free. Start right now. Freedom. Get your freedom tonight. Freedom. Well. Freedom.
Good. So in general, I'd say that as we all know, blockchain technology and quite everything in this technology stack is always based on, cryptographic proof, cryptographic validation, and thus no trust is required, right? As an end user, as a developer, as a technologist, it doesn't matter like who you are and who's using the technology, you will not have to trust anyone, as opposed to traditional technology, right? Traditional database systems. Anyone can go ahead and alter data. Anyone can fake and spoof data. You wouldn't even have the chance to actually prove and track if this takes place. But with the blockchain technology, the most important factor, it's the fact that this technology is trustless, right? This term of trustless technology is, I think, the most important aspect, and that is like why we really need decentralized exchanges as one of these blockchain technologies, because it will entirely remove the requirement for trust when exchanging data, right? I'll just like call it data. I will not like particularly call it like cryptocurrencies or tokens, because in my opinion, this DEX technology can be used for any kind of trustless data exchange. That does include, of course, cryptocurrencies, but it could be far more. And I think this is the main reason why we really need this in the space and just in general in the tech world. Good. I think there are a lot of DEX models out there that are called DEX because they make use of decentralized technologies, at least to a certain degree, right? But I don't believe that the naming or like the wording of a truly decentralized exchange is justified for these kind of access. I mean, we've seen in our space, in the crypto space in general, over the last couple of years, they've been like repeatedly like hacks, serious hacks on so-called DEX systems. And what afterwards was found out is that these technologies weren't truly decentralized DEXs. There were centralized layers. There were aspects in these technology solutions which actually were very centralized, right? So in some cases, there were kind of backdoors left open, which enabled specific parties to just drain out, wallets and financial pools in the crypto space. And so in my opinion, a true DEX, a real DEX, like a really trustless DEX, must use the cross-chain or cross-protocol atomic swap technology, which we utilize for our DEX. I believe there will be more solutions, right? Like to add this on top of the XCAT on the cross-chain atomic swap technology. I believe there will be more solutions in the future, probably more efficient protocols. As of now, I'm certain that the cross-chain atomic swap protocol itself is basically the most trustless, the most solid solution from a protocol perspective right now. So in general, I'd say that the Atomic DeFi and this Komodo DeFi engine, our DeFi, our DEX technology, right? I mean, we know it's not a DEX, just a DEX anymore. We have different APIs, different technology layers in this stack. One of them is the DEX, obviously, but we also have a wallet API, right? We are even like exploring further layers, right? We want to enhance it, add NFT marketplace solution. At the end of the day, we've like added a lot of like second and third generation protocol supports. I mean, it fully supports Ethereum, the ERC ecosystem. We have the Quantum, the Qtum chain supported with its token standard, the so-called QRC20 standard. And this is just the very beginning. Today, right now, as I speak to you, our developers are integrating, working on the BSC integration, right? The Binance Smart Chain protocol support. And this is kind of the vision. The vision is to build a technology that can and does bridge all the different protocols, all the different blockchains, right? And actually even their communities, right? We believe that Atomic DeFi, AtomicDEX, right? You can call it what you want, the Komodo DeFi Engine, etc., right? This huge technology stack, to me, it's a very global blockchain protocol or technology bridge, which connects all the different blockchain layers. So at some point, there will be full support. We'll have PancakeSwap, Uniswap, and everything integrated into this technology solution. Users will be able to connect to the entire space without having limitations or borders to other ecosystems, to other technologies, to other solutions. The vision is really to remove all these borders and make it like one huge like blockchain and crypto universe, and I think this is one of like the main motivations for us why we built this technology. For us, this is really an open source contribution to the entire ecosystem. It's not something that's just like for Komodo, limited just like for Komodo token and the Komodo smart chains. So we've basically been building the Komodo DeFi and the AtomicDEX technologies for over half a decade. I mean, as of today, it's around 6-7 years where we've been like actively, working on the development of this technology. And around 2 years, a bit more than 2 years ago, we rolled out basically the first beta. We had the alpha, I think 2.5-3 years ago, and we've been like enhancing and fixing and smoothing out the technology. But now around two years ago, when we initiated the beta, we went into an enhancement, into an improvement phase. We had the first stress test a quite long time ago, right? I don't remember 100% when this was, but it's been long ago, like over a year ago. I think it was like around autumn 2019. Yeah, so that's like 1.5 years, something like that ago. We had like the first stress test, and that gave us a lot of like very valuable results. We noticed there were bottlenecks in the protocol, and that's a limitation. There are limitations, there are risks that come with blockchain technology, that come with a very new and innovative tech layer. It's quite normal. We also have to keep in mind that most of the technology that we utilize for the DeFi engine, it's based on traditional technology, right? These are data types, technologies, algorithm, protocols, networking layers, etc., that are used for many other things. It's not something that's like built dedicated for this technology, for this purpose, right? I'm certain this is coming, right, with the time, and we've ourselves built a lot of innovative layers around this technology just to enhance it. And yeah, a couple months ago in December, actually in the summer 2020, we noticed, okay, we've really completed the first revision after the stress test, and now we are ready to to, like you said, have a battlefield stress test, like really test this in the wildfire, test this with a lot of users, you know, without any control on our end. We just like open it and we see what happens, because we were quite confident. And that's what we did then in December 6th, December 7th. We had like this very, very active stress test session, hundreds of thousands of cross-chain atomic swaps, a ton, like crap load of concurrent and simultaneous swaps going on specific nodes. For us, from a technology perspective, it was a huge success because it validated the robustness of this technology. And that was very important. It was important to get first, this first public validation, something outside of the laboratory, outside of our test infrastructure, because that's something we can control. But running a public stress test means you have bad actors, you have malicious actors, you have just noobs, you have grandmas, you have people who don't know anything about this tech, you have people who are just gonna click around, and try to break stuff. And this is what gave us like a super feedback, right? And we've been now the last 2-3 months, we've been actually polishing, towards this 0.4, towards this stable beta release, based on the results and the information we received from the second stress that we had in December. And after we did the polishing, we actually ran a lot of like additional internal tests. There's been a lot of protocol enhancements. We've like fixed a lot of things, not really fixed, but let's say enhanced, just improved, like hard protocol. And here we are basically with first stable beta release. So we consider the technology ready. We consider the technology robust. We consider it production ready. It's not yet 100% industry production ready because we still have additional assessments ongoing, specifically third-party security assessments, cryptographic assessments. I mean, our protocol has been independently reviewed. The cross-chain atomic swap protocol itself, that's like a stone, that's like mountain solid. That's something that you can't hack as of now, right? It's something we can whoosh with our names and guarantee. It's not hackable as of now. What we want like to enhance is basically underlying like protocol. There's things that happen off chain that are not directly related to the blockchain operations and to the cryptographic validation layer. It's things such as like the network layer. You know what I mean? Like, as you know, a very, very sophisticated attacker will always find a way to mess with a decentralized network. That's the price of decentralized technologies, right? You do not control the infrastructure. You do not control the network participants. So you have to build it in a way that makes it ultra hard for bad guys, for black hats to mess around, to disrupt the network, etc. And this is what we did and what we're still doing as of now. But either way, the stable beta is out and it's tagged as a stable beta, and it is in fact a stable beta. All right, so as aforementioned, we've built the Atomic DeFi, the Komodo DeFi Engine. So basically the underlying, like the core technology, this standalone peer-to-peer blockchain technology. Over half a decade, and we've been really building it in a way that would enable other developers and players in the space to build end-user solutions on top of it, like quite fast in a super efficient manner. And this is what we basically showcased with our end-user applications, with AtomicDEX GUIs. We have it for mobile, we have it for desktop. On the mobile side, I remember we literally built the first iteration towards the alpha version within a few months, right? Within a few weeks, we actually had like a fully functional wallet on mobile, capable of doing cross-chain atomic swaps, capable of running all wallet operations, such as sending, receiving tokens, storing them, etc. And we've been like polishing on the mobile side. It's been like 1.5 to 2 years. The most recent dev is, I'd say the last 6 months has been created like dev sprint. So first of all, the mobile apps matured like tremendously, right? We have iOS, we have Android, and we can consider the mobile applications fully production ready, like industry production ready. They don't have any, critical bugs anymore, or like some problems. They're utilizing super solid crypto technologies, also on the not just like on the blockchain cryptographic layer, but specifically on how we treat the user data, right? As you know, with these GUIs, the user data never leaves the device. They see the private keys, etc. This is data that's always stored only on the user side. It will never leave this device. And of course, we use like a super solid like encryption technology on that side to make sure that even if a user lost the mobile device, the phone, or someone, kind of forces the user to hand it out, etc. We even have countermeasures for this kind of situations. If it's stolen, no one will be able to crack your data storage on the device, and thus no one will be able to access your cryptographic keys, your private keys. If someone forces you, let's say someone really is kidnapped and is forced to unlock the phone, etc., we have something called the camouflage pin. So you can actually use you can configure a different pin on your device, which will show a fake balance. And we enhanced this in the way that it would even enable you to transfer this fake balance, and afterwards it will just like show zero. So the attacker or the bad actor can actually even torture someone, to give out the coins. And once he has access, he will see, oh, there's not a lot of coins on it. Actually, he can just take it and that's it, right? And you're literally safe. On the desktop side, again, this has been like around 6 months to build like a super solid end user application. It's a wallet, it's a DEX. It even has a DEP browser in it, which is not enabled yet, but that's something that's coming in the near future. And I'd say all these GUI implementations are showcasing, basically proving the claim that anyone can build something with the DeFi engine. It doesn't really need to any high development resources, because you have this high level interface on the DeFi engine for the wallet operations, right? You literally, you log in with your seed, you fetch your addresses, you can already then receive coins, you can send the addresses with a super simple API interface. So when you build a wallet or you build a DEX GUI, or you want to build your own decentralized exchange, you can utilize AtomicDEX, the underlying AtomicDEX technology, the Komodo DeFi, the Atomic DeFi engine, and you literally just use the interface from this DeFi engine, right? You don't have to worry about key management. How do I handle, how do I generate keys? How do I encode public keys? How do I generate a transaction? How do I sign a transaction and broadcast it to the blockchain network? And all these kind of low-level operations become unessential. They become irrelevant to the developers. So you can actually pay attention to building like a super beautiful end user application, a GUI, and you can focus on what really matters, and that's like building tools for the end users, right? Because you have this open source DeFi engine, which is vetted, independently reviewed and assessed, etc., right? And I'd say this is like the main thing about our GUI suite, our applications. Of course, it's something we wish that a lot of users, hopefully millions, will use it at the end of the day, right? Now we have thousands of active users. That's very satisfying for us. But it will be even more satisfying when we see other services, other wallet providers start using the Atomic DeFi engine to also add a DEX interface to their wallets and to their services. You know what I mean? And this is why we basically built our GUIs from one point, of course, as an end user application for our users and for the entire ecosystem. And more importantly, to really showcase how easy and how trivial utilizing this technology is.
This question is giving volume to the idea that AtomicDEX is part of the next generation of DEX technologies that are coming out for avoiding having anybody else hold your collateral, hold your assets, hold your crypto. Like with the whole Robinhood and GME stock situation where they said, nope, no more buying, and no, you aren't allowed to withdraw, or you aren't allowed to do this or that. Or with Robinhood right now, where you can't withdraw your crypto. AtomicDEX is a completely non custodial solution. You withdraw and deposit instantly at your own whimsy. It's a standalone application that doesn't call home, and it's just out there in the wild. In fact, we made it so agnostic, we didn't even label it with the Komodo branding just to encourage people to feel free to use it without having to be tethered into a brand shill for something else. So the question again stands on the floor of how things will work 5 years from now. Do you think we'll still be using centralized exchanges, or will we still uh, be like moving away from centralized exchanges? What are people's thoughts here that they may want to give volume to on this?
I guess I'll say my piece on that. I think that centralized exchanges, similar to banks, are going to be around for a very, very long time, just because they cater to a particular type of user, which is someone that doesn't want to have custody of their funds for X or Y reason. I've spoken with plenty of people that they keep funds in Binance because they really truly trust Binance or another exchange, and it's the same reason why most people, at least the newcomers to cryptocurrencies, um, they have that fear because they hear about people losing their bitcoins, and that's a real fear, because it's a real responsibility to actually custody your funds and do it in a safe manner, so you aren't risking losing the funds or getting hacked. So centralized exchanges definitely do hold a special place, and they're not going to go away. Just like dial-up hasn't gone away, even though we have um, broadband and DSL and now satellite internet. There's people still using dial-up, AOL and stuff. So we shouldn't expect that to go away. I do think, though, speaking from my experience in the past year, having dealt with more institutional level investors, hedge funds, they are shifting towards cryptocurrencies, and a lot of the clients that they offer their services to actually have a real appetite for custody of their funds. So as more assets are tokenized, as more things are put on the blockchain as tokens or cryptocurrencies, there's going to be a niche of people that want to hold custody over their funds. And that's really why decentralized exchanges, even though at the moment things like Uniswap are very popular, they're not mainstream. I think they did a poll recently where it showed around 15 or 20% of people actually even know what DeFi is, and let alone use it. It's a very, very small percentage of the crypto community, and the crypto community is small as it is. So what's going to happen, though, as the DEXes get friendlier, they're going to grow, and they definitely do fill a niche, and that niche is you holding custody of your funds. And I do think networks like AtomicDEX network are very important, not only because they're fully decentralized and they're non-custodial, but also because they're so flexible. So the way that I see it, in the next 5 years, we should be talking about trading other things than cryptos on DEXs. We are most likely going to be seeing loans being executed through DEX networks. We're going to be seeing tokenized real estate, tokenized assets, which already exist. The derivatives market is just starting, but it does exist. That's going to be moving towards the DEXs, catering to the hedge funds, the investors that basically want to hold custody of their assets, and also just the regular user that just wants to trade from their own wallet.
That's an absolutely killer answer. Otto or Delton. We also have G Trang in here, who is our patron saint of support. If anybody else would like to give a little bit of volume to that, PTYX landed an amazing explanation on he thinks the future will look like for centralized exchanges and how things will work 5 years from now. In particular, Otto gave a live stream commentary on the idea of banks and how they work and what that means for our sector. that that anybody listening that liked some of what they heard can go back into our live streams and look at that material and content as it comes out on our YouTube. I'll give a few minutes if anybody else wants to leave a comment, and then I'll move on to the next question.
Yeah, I think that was a good answer. Let's go to the next question.
Yeah, it was super complete.
Nothing more
All right.
to add.
Legitimate. So the next question we're going to put out there on the floor, atomic swaps over proxy tokens. And Delton might even be a clutch person to add some volume to this if he feels like it. Again, PTYX has an amazing voice here in the space, and we're encouraging that more and more. Actually, I think with our PR, we're specifically after some new AMA and talk situations like with Decrypt, getting PTYX's voice out about that, because he's such a powerful member within the Komodo team. Everybody within the Komodo team is a powerful member that's working very hard as well.
Yeah.
So
That's
what?
true.
Yeah, we're all. I mean, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants here. I know that for sure. So why atomic swaps over proxy tokens? The same thing goes to that question for other DEXes. So maybe like why AtomicDEX over other DEXes is kind of the hidden item here, because AtomicDEX does not run on proxy tokens. It's all native and non-custodial.
For I think one of the major advantages in the way that the current AtomicDEX architecture works is mainly that it's way more secure than you being dependent on a very complex smart contract that somebody could eventually find a flaw and drain. And that's what's currently happening with DEXes like the ones that are built on Ethereum, the DEXes that are being built on the Binance Smart Chain, is that you're dependent on the Solidity contract to be secure enough in order for you not to lose your funds. So those could be secure for years, but eventually someone's going to find a vulnerability, and it's going to be able either, one, they might be able to actually front run your swaps and make profit off of them, or two, they might be able to actually drain the contract and everyone loses funds. With the way that the AtomicDEX was built, these are smart contracts by definition, but they're built in a very simple hash lock time contract that is native to that blockchain, so you're not dependent on an external contract. And each step is dependent on a transaction that is occurring live. So there's very little risk or no risk at all for the actual transaction, for example, to be drained, because there's no contract layer in between. It's just two blockchains communicating with each other and the swap fulfilling. So there's more security in that. But again, I think we go back to the whole niche thing and the place that smart contract or token swaps do fill a space like the ones that Uniswap and all these 1inch and all these other DEX aggregators. So the way that I see it, I think that eventually AtomicDEX will cater to both things. We will see DEX ecosystems being bridged into the AtomicDEX so that you can actually do these token swaps if you wish. But ultimately, there are disadvantages to it, and there's advantages to each depending on what you're actually trying to accomplish.
That's a super great answer.
Yeah, we often get the first question is like how we're different from Uniswap, and like are we better or what's the difference? And the way I look at it is that if you make a DEX like Uniswap, like you are relying on the Ethereum ecosystem. So it's just the DEX for Ethereum, and it supports ERC20 contracts. And then if you need to bring another coin like Bitcoin, then you need to wrap it, and you're still trading ERC20 contract that's just represents Bitcoin. And that is like a crucial aspect to understand. And then what we did, we kind of broadened the scope, so to say. So we are still working with Ethereum and ERC20 tokens, But in addition, we have other coins like UTXO blockchains such as Bitcoin and Litecoin, Dogecoin, Komodo. And then it just allows you to trade like cross protocol or cross ecosystem, like from Ethereum to Bitcoin, and you can hold the real native Bitcoin as you trade. And that's the advantage, that we are not limited to the Ethereum ecosystem, or we are not limited to just Bitcoin. That we are going to, or we are looking to support all the protocols, all the tokens, all the coins. And I think that the estimation or the conclusion was that we would be able to support 99% of all the coins and tokens in existence. Like we are compatible with them. It just takes time to integrate them all to the Komodo DeFi Engine. And then once this all is done, and then we are kind of building a bridge, so to say, for the whole blockchain industry, or like we are bringing all the ecosystem together into this larger DEX network powered by atomic swaps. And this is larger in scale, and this, to me, like this seems like this is the long-term future for the blockchain industry. Like it's not like we can all see the limitations on Ethereum and just trying to put all the eggs to the one basket, and then it's just the fees go up the sky and you run into problems and you find the bottlenecks. So we really have to create a future for blockchain that is more scalable and flexible. And the whole philosophy and vision behind Komodo from the beginning has been that there has to be other blockchains, like multiple blockchains, and those blockchains work together. And then that is where this atomic swap technology comes in. And the atomic swap technology isn't from Komodo, so it isn't relying on KMD. It's blockchain agnostic, and that's the big benefit it has. But then, of course, KMD and Komodo will benefit indirectly, as it's the official coin from us, and it's cheap in transaction fees. It's fast and it's secure. It's secured by Bitcoin. So we are looking to provide liquidity for the KMD pairs on this DEX, and then it's very useful to have some KMD if you want to be swapping on AtomicDEX or other
Yeah,
DEXes.
I think somebody just mentioned Otto on the channel. Webworker did that. AtomicDEX unlocks the layer 2 for Bitcoin and basically every other altcoin. That's really, I
that's
think,
great.
it makes sense, because I think right now what we're seeing is just atomic swaps trading, either way, one way or the other. But you can build other things through the AtomicDEX network, and eventually that is what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's good. That's exciting.
That is super exciting. Delton,
Yeah.
did you want to add anything to that conversation about proxy tokens versus native tokens? Because I know you did that wonderful live stream event.
Yeah, I would just add just like AtomicDEX lets you have your cake and eat it too. So when we talk about like proxy tokens,
Nice.
AtomicDEX supports various wrapped coins, for instance, like wrapped Zcash, wrapped Bitcoin, but also you can trade natively across chain. So if you want to trade like ordinary Zcash or like ordinary Bitcoin, like natively across chain, yes, you can do that as well. So just like it has ultimate flexibility to do whatever you want, whether you want to trade proxy tokens or you want to trade natively.
Awesome. Man, thank you everybody for the great responses there. We always have such great conversations coming out of here. Okay, we've got one more question for this round robin situation, and that is, why is the stable beta 04040 a huge milestone for Komodo? We've given voice to it and we've talked about it a little bit during the live stream, but just specifically getting this question answered and getting a couple different viewpoints from the team, and maybe even if we have longstanding members of the community that have been waiting for this moment, if you want to share a little bit about, we'll be sure to give voice to it on the live stream. I have finished batching out the first 25 people that downloaded AtomicDEX and shared that empty wallet situation. And during it, apparently, some of you guys, some of you people sent me more KMD to
Oh,
make that
nice.
process even longer. So I went ahead and batched that too. So we have more than this time around. So thank you, everybody. I'm really in love with this community here. It's I got to the end and I was like, why do I have more coins still? I guess I got to keep going. And I found some received transactions from other people. To lead back into the question, why is stable beta 040 a huge milestone for Komodo? Take it away, whoever feels like they want to jump on that one.
From my perspective, which is, I've worked side by side with Kadan, with CA333, with the development team. I've met them. I've seen them work on this since early 2017, when we were basically making atomic swaps on the command line. And I think what we have now is the culmination of a lot of years of work. The product, and I think we proved it in the last stress test, is very, very stable. I think when we first started, atomic swaps would fail around 20% of the time, 20 or 30% of the time. So it was a very high fail rate for the swaps to match. And now we're talking, it's less than a percentage of atomic swaps that fail. And just that by itself is a huge monument, because we're talking about fully decentralized trading. And it's completely different blockchains trading from one side to the other. And besides that, when you look at the graphical interface, the user interface is as friendly as it's going to get for atomic swaps, for decentralized trading, and just wallets in general. So I think the 0.4, at least us releasing it as the stable beta, we've not called it this before because I think the team wasn't comfortable with that. And the development team has been working very hard. And what we have now is basically a culmination of all those years of experience, all those years of trying different things, of trial and error, and making this a very friendly experience on mobile and on desktop. And it actually works. It works almost 100% of the time.
That's huge. That's really great. There's little parts of that history that I'm always learning a little bit more about. Like I didn't realize how low the success rate for atomic swaps was in the past.
Yeah,
And
I mean, we tried to do DICOs with offshoot graphical interfaces just for you, basically like depositing funds and buying a coin that launched. And I remember I was
I
in
remember those
Spain.
actually.
Really? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I don't know if I was with Otto. Were you with us in Spain when we were doing the Block Nation DICO with CA? I know that Angelino was there. I think a few other people were there. CU was there. And anyways, yeah, I just remember like going crazy because the swaps were failing. And
Oh no.
yeah, but there was
Oh,
nothing
was
we
this?
could do about it. It was just the network.
Oh wow. Was this before the? So maybe I actually wasn't there. Was this before the public DICOs that were run like back in 2017?
Yeah,
Was
it
this
was
like more
around
of an
those.
internal?
No, this was a public one. I believe it was at the end of 2017 or right at the middle of 2018. It was somewhere around there. I was going back and forth to Europe, and we basically locked ourselves in a house. I think it was like 4 or 5 of us, and we were going through that. But yeah, I when I saw the last stress test, I mean, I was really, really impressed with the low fail rate, because this is a torrent network. At when you look at it, at how the swaps are actually being broadcasted, it's a peer-to-peer torrent network for money. And yeah, it's just incredible how stable it is now.
That's great. All right, we're gonna take a break here soon and go off to the to talk about the stress test results. And Delton is going to be leading up that stress test result talk. Before we go and do that, we actually had a question that was dropped in the Discord. I want to give Delton the opportunity to give a response to. It was by Cypher, who was actually the very first person to respond, the very first member of our Discord community, of our Komodo society, to respond to the first 25 people get 10 KMD to get their active rewards going. And Cypher asks, can we ask how we will be working on marketing Delton? KMD has an awareness issue. It used to be a top 50 coin, however, it has slowly lost attention with time. How how would we go about turning this around? How can the community help this? And I believe that this question is particularly targeted towards Delton because Delton is the director of content here and acts as this wonderful voice for producing all of our blog content. I know that as soon as he produces a blog, I treat it as a memo and carry it off to all of our third-party partners. And I know that we've spent hours and hours going through how to make better scheduler pieces and how to make the events have a stronger voice. And as far as I can tell, like this content is just like absolutely amazing. And then of course it just keeps on getting better. So Delton, I want to offer that question up to you to talk about all the things that are going on in marketing. And of course, Otto is like, that's a great one to spin out to you as well, because I know that you have just so much that you've been here for that you've seen changing. And even PTY, if you want to give any volume to that from like the from another one of those voices from the Komodo team that is coming from BizDev side and kind of like watching this from a different kind of point of view.
Yeah, so I think like one of the biggest things we're looking to do this year and that we have been doing is just this event series. So when we started like in January, we were just basically in the planning stage for how to run these events, how to do live streams, how to build out this content. And then like throughout February, we've kind of building up with these events. Like we've definitely have a better structure in place. We have like full presentations explaining different topics, explaining like what Komodo technology does, what it is, why people should be using it. So I think this is part of awareness is just like building the content, but then we also have to think about like where do we share that content, what channels do we pursue, yeah, and like how we can get better engagement not only within the Komodo community but also just awareness, as Cypher says, like throughout the greater cryptosphere. So I think, for instance, the March events are really going to help with that because the focus is on social media. So that's one thing we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at like different audiences, expanding to new platforms, and just like how we can build a community. I think JC has been leading Nakamoto Nights, for instance, which is like a grassroots marketing effort, grassroots community group. So there are a lot of things going on that we're going to be continuing to build upon. And I think it's just going to keep expanding from there. And we're just going to keep building more awareness. So yeah, everyone should just be looking out for the events, and we're gonna have like more details about how everyone can get involved. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to invite everyone to stick around on Discord and follow the announcements we'll be making as we enter March. So those who are new, like we are working with the marketing in a sprints. So each month we have a new sprint. And in March, it's focused on social media and community. And what we're doing is that we have started doing public marketing meetings and brainstorms. And on next Monday or Tuesday, and in next week in general, we will be planning the goals and programs for March. So if you're interested, you can just hop in and listen in as we plan everything. The goal of March will be to kind of clear the pathway for anyone in the community to get involved and help us push Komodo message and AtomicDEX across all different social media channels and work more closely with us. And we are looking to build and launch some sort of bounty programs and proposal systems. So again, we'd like everyone to just join in to the effort and help us make some noise about AtomicDEX, and also help P2IX with his awareness project, that is the DogeDEX. So what P2I has done is he forked the AtomicDEX, branded it for the Doge community, and that app is now coming available for mobile, and there's been huge reception from the Doge community. So I'm sure like P2I will want to talk about that later on. So that's just one example, like how you could help out, like reach out to P2I and see what you could do to help out, and stay tuned for the announcements we make on the website, and jump into the calls on Discord.
Yeah, that's a good one. Being because a lot of people, especially, I mean, I'm on time, and I'm on. Usually people ping me, but I usually ping. It's just a Telegram. There's not a lot of numbers there, and a lot of people ask how to get involved and this and that. And I think we definitely need to find a place for them to concentrate their efforts. So if we're all on Discord, if we're attending the meetings, and we're all in a common channel, when someone pushes out something on social media, then the rest can help, and it just has a bigger impact than just someone posting something randomly and then waiting for people to help promote it. And the community definitely is interested in helping. So, you know, we welcome you to join Discord. We, the marketing team and business and sometimes development, are basically live every week on the Roundtable meetings, so you have access to them. There's dedicated channels for community, for suggestions, or basically anything that like any initiative that you think is a good idea. There's been really good ideas pitched recently, and we are open to them. And if it's something that we think that we can do and it'll create, you know, that it's worth the effort, we will do it. So we welcome you to join these channels. And if you're on Telegram, hop on over to Discord, and you'll find your place in one of those channels.
Absolutely fantastic. Yep, I couldn't agree more. To add more volume to Charles Gonzalez P2IX's voice, we have been working with the community to develop more of these solutions for when community ideas come forward. How do we champion them? Something I'm actually doing right now, if you're watching on the live stream and wondering what these other transactions are that I'm batching out, is that I just sent 250 KMD more from my own wallet, and I'm sending them out to our very own Nakamoto Knights, which we talked about in earlier live streams in our bounty channel here, the community bounties here in our Discord. There was a fleet of retweets that came out from members of our community when I asked for it, to try to get a hold of A. Pompliano and get him in DMs. And it turned out that we did get him in DMs, and it turned out to be a great win. The Nakamoto Knights is one of the various programs that we're looking to just see if a focused tweet or social media program would work. And it really wasn't meant to be anything that was built out until March, when we do all of our social media building and our expansion. And everybody that's been a part of that has been very patient for the last month while they've been waiting for me to batch out rewards and create more of these reward topics and stuff like that. And I'm going ahead and doing that on live stream, doubling down with the same KMD rewards that I just sent out to the first 25 people that sent in empty wallets. I just sent over 250 KMD from my own wallet to go ahead and send that out to the wonderful Nakamoto Knights that have been working to do this, to say thank you, and then to ask them to watch for these bounty opportunities and watch for the Nakamoto Knights support that's coming out during March. And if you're listening along and you ever saw the Zilk social pay media campaigns and you loved that situation, or the Chain Link Marines and you love that situation, Nakamoto Knights is a very similar situation going on, where it's a community built, community run, distributed sharing social media campaign to help bring awareness and ride the dragon and just continue on this wonderful warpath that marketing is on, leading into the Summer Blockchain Conference happening in June. For everyone out there at Anarchapulco, we're going to take a 5-minute break. Get your snacks, refill your drinks, and then when we come back, we'll be doing the last segment, part 4, questions and answers, common questions asked. Just a place where our team has taken the time to wrap together a bunch of questions about crypto sector, Komodo tech, and the answers associated with them. Stay tuned.
one of the major hurdles, at least in my point of view right now. The AtomicDEX network is great and the apps are great. However, we're lacking liquidity. So this year, one of our main focuses at Komodo is increasing the liquidity on the DEX. And I think that's one of the clearest goals that we can achieve with building the branded DEXes.
So any basically rebranded or forked DEX solution and DEX software that is built on top of AtomicDEX will indeed utilize basically the same liquidity pool. It means that no matter who is using AtomicDEX engine and building on top of it, even if it's like a third-party wallet provider, etc., we will be using the same liquidity pool. We will be trading in the same network. Technically, it is basically like trading on the same exchange, right? But from an end user perspective, it could be whatever like solution. It could be like whatever wallet, whatever GUI implementation, right? The user wouldn't have to worry or think about these details. But yes, just to answer these questions, anything that builds on top of the Atomic DeFi engine and this DEX protocol will use the same liquidity and will be using the same order books and etc.
So there are currently three main ways that you can get started as a liquidity provider if you want to provide liquidity to AtomicDEX. If you're a developer, go to developers.komodoplatform.com and find the search bar at the top of the page. You can start typing liquidity provider and you'll find documentation about how you can become a liquidity provider. So you'll find all the requirements, all the dependencies you need, and basically everything you need to get started as a liquidity provider. You can also go to komodoplatform.com/Discord. So here you can find help from anyone in the Komodo community. They can help you understand more about providing liquidity to AtomicDEX and basically answer any question you have. So this is a very good resource if you're interested in getting involved with community efforts as well. And another way you can get involved is currently on the komodoplatform.com website. You'll see the marketing roadmap for 2021. And this is a blog post that links to blog.komodoplatform.com. Go to this blog post and you'll notice for May, we have an AtomicDEX market making workshop. So one of the big objectives with this event is basically anyone, whether you're a technical user or a non-technical user, you'll learn everything you need to know to get started as a market maker. Basically, you'll be able to provide liquidity to AtomicDEX, and you'll just learn more about Komodo and how to get started. That's pretty much it.
Not yet, but it is being worked on. And one of the reasons why it's not compatible at this moment is because the AtomicDEX requires several signatures during the atomic swap. That's why the client has to actually remain online, because as the atomic swap progresses, the client is actually signing transactions. So if we had a ledger integration, you would literally need to manually approve every transaction. So we have this has been brainstormed in the development team, and it is going to be solved so that hardware wallets will be able to be used, but the AtomicDEX process might change for hardware wallets.
So we do not store any user data, and the network itself doesn't store any user data neither, right? I mean, obviously, atomic swaps are public information, right? You could parse the blockchains, the corresponding blockchains, where the atomic swaps took place, and you would be able to fetch certain information, right? Such as between whom have there been swaps in the sense of, or in the regard of their public keys. But again, it wouldn't include like personal data, IP addresses, anything that could like track, like successfully track back a user. So in that regard, this is like offering like ultimate privacy in that regard, because we don't parse, store, or transmit any personal user, not concerning your, your balances. We don't like spy on people. We don't track people. like a lot of other apps, specifically mobile apps, are doing, right? It wouldn't align with our core vision, with our ideology of the entire Komodo team, right? Concerning the privacy, now on the protocol side, again, we just ensure there's ultimate privacy given. On the GUI side, I mean, of course, when you're using your app in public, people could, of course, stand behind you, you know, sneaky and spy on you, check what you're doing. But for this case, we've implemented, you know, like a privacy feature, which will hide all balances, all significant numbers. We even have like this camouflage pin feature, which's been mentioned, which also would enable you to show a fake balance, a much lower balance that you actually have, right? The price, I'd say the price of ultimate financial freedom in a decentralized, distributed, and trustless fashion is the price that this data is publicly accessible, right? This data now specifically concerning like atomic swaps. If you'd used like atomic swap technology with other tokens which have ultimate privacy, as an example, let's take the CryptoNote protocol. Let's look at Monero, right? With Monero, at some point, it would be definitely like possible to have like this ultimate private swaps, but with the ordinary chains, with those blockchains that have a public ledger, it wouldn't be possible to really have like super private swaps, right? If you wanted this, if you wanted like a super private swap, you'd have to pay the price of less decentralization, or basically adding a bit of trust to the process. Let's say like a OTC trade where we both meet and we run a swap between each other in the manner of like a usual transaction, right? So in this case, you wouldn't really see, is this now a swap? Was this a trade between two parties? Or is this just an ordinary transaction? So this kind of, I'd say, hack-arounds, you know, do exist. It's things that can be implemented. But speaking in general and speaking for the public blockchains, there wouldn't and there shouldn't be the ultimate private swaps, because at the end of the day, the cross-chain atomic swap technology uses this public data for the validation, you know, for the cryptographic proofs, and to keep this all trustless. Ethereum 2.0 will certainly be integrated into the Atomic DeFi protocol, into the engine. So, I mean, our goal just in general is providing compatibility with all blockchain protocols technologies. And ETH 2.0 is definitely one of the more popular, you know, technologies, and we're going to respect like the community wish, the user demand, and we ourselves believe it's definitely like a strong enhancement compared to 1.0. So we'll have a big interest and focus on implementing full support and compatibility with the DeFi engine.
The AtomicDEX, as it is right now, is not NFT compatible, but there are people in the community that are building a project around NFTs. Token is the name of the person that's heading the project, and the idea is that once that's ready, that it will be integrated into the AtomicDEX. And there's a few things to consider with the NFTs being available on the AtomicDEX. One of them is the trading of the actual tokens, which shouldn't be a big technical hurdle. The other thing is being able to visualize the actual NFTs. And that's more of a hurdle, in my opinion, just because we have to make decisions on where these things are going to be stored. If they're going to be stored on IPFS or in a centralized server. And then the other thing that I was talking about yesterday with Kadan was about having some type of moderation for the NFTs, because as you know, there's always going to be someone that's going to upload something that's either illegal or maybe copyrighted. So we have to think and we have to assume someone will do that. And most likely there will have to be some type of system where maybe a group of moderators that are either voted in or some type of delegation is made for these reported NFTs to be looked at and to be taken down if required. Yeah, that's basically the plan for the NFTs. As of now, it's not one of our main focuses. Again, I think it's not a big technical hurdle because there's all other implementations that we could look at for light wallets that already do this. So if there was enough of an appetite for it, the development team would just need to allocate resources to it. But as of now, it's not like our main focus. Jason mentioned while we were on break, it's a good idea. The thing is that it would be like a major undertaking actually have something like this implemented and to have it implemented widely enough to actually be used. Just because you have to basically get the credit card issuers or the debit card issuers involved in the cashback. So not a focus as of right now, but a good idea. Yeah, that's actually coming into the forefront most likely in the next release of the AtomicDEX as well as the DogeDEX. And thanks to Jason, who's also working on the business development side, we secured a partnership with InDeCoin. So that is most likely the on-ramp that we'll use for non-US customers. And we will be working on a US friendly on-ramp for those customers. But I think we should expect for the next release to have a fiat on-ramp on AtomicDEX and then subsequently on the DogeDEX, which
This is a fairly large topic, so I'm going to try to keep it condensed down to 5 minutes or less. Most of everything that I will reference can be found by going to komodoplatform.com and going to the pin that is at the top of the main page. That is the marketing roadmap, Explore Komodo during the first half of 2021, detailing out the journey that is taking place for Komodo and its awareness campaign for the first half of 2021. During which there are a series of sprints dedicated for the Komodo project to be completed each month. The first one happened in January, completely centered around the idea of exploring Komodo and delivering the new website and brand enhancements. This included a path clearing initiative set forth by Otto, the CMO, during the last half of 2021 and included a better conversation around brand positioning and the PR surrounding it. February's Discover AtomicDEX sprint included a series of strategy workshops surrounding the adoption and increased awareness of AtomicDEX and a series of explainers related to that. During March, Komodo will be going after the topic of social media workshops, where it will make the moves to expand out for multiple social media platforms and complete an initiative to permanently boost social media activity and the conversations and spaces that it exists within. During April, Komodo will host a Blockchain Education 101 courses and series. This is part of the educational content strategy that Komodo is reaching out to do, as it is part of its ethos to help equip people better with understanding the blockchain space and all the crypto initiatives associated with it. It also helps Komodo expand its SEO focus and become more recognized as an educational leader in the blockchain space, which it has always existed in, And if this is something that you are interested in, you can come to Komodo Discord, where the live chat conversations are happening, and join the conversations understanding what Komodo is and what the crypto space is, what blockchain and UTXO technology are. In May, there's an AtomicDEX market making series of webinars and live streams. These are intended to create a clear pathway for those that are looking to become market makers on AtomicDEX and help provide liquidity. Right now, these solutions are not readily apparent, but they are doable with enough investigation. Creating these clear pathways with very easy to understand explainers is the goal here. Those that participate along in the month of May should be able to take advantage of the first mover benefits of being some major liquidity providers on AtomicDEX, and can learn a little bit more about things like arbitrage strategies and secure a place within the DEX network. And then in June, this is leading up to the Komodo's Summer Blockchain Conference event. This is a major event which Komodo is looking to continually host, and will be party to different community projects, all similar to the AtomicDEX stress test, which happened in December of 2020, on December 12th and 13th. The Komodo Summer Blockchain Conference, much like the AtomicDEX stress test, will host various segments from different projects talking about topical issues, and is a networking opportunity for those looking to understand more about blockchain and crypto, as well as find the space that they can best get involved in. The summer conference for blockchain enthusiasts is designed to be agnostic and intended to be for everybody to come and be able to find interoperability with Komodo, AtomicDEX, and all their favorite projects. Along with these monthly sprints, Komodo has put out a tentative schedule, which again you can see by going to komodoplatform.com and clicking on that Explore Komodo Marketing Roadmap. The tentative schedule outlines many of the things that I just talked about, and you can sign up and subscribe for the newsletters, which come out monthly, giving both a recap at the end of the month for everything that was achieved and a reminder for you to claim your 5% active user rewards on AtomicDEX for any Komodo that you're holding on there for the KMD. The second newsletter reminder is that, which comes out at the beginning of every month, about a week in, and talks about all the things that are happening that month and the schedule for that. These are all the ways in which Komodo is attempting to bring awareness to itself as a project and take that next step in its maturity and evolving as a space leader.
I could talk about this from the blog perspective at least. So a lot of times when I write a post in English, it's pretty much like translated relatively quickly into Spanish and Russian now. So for instance, if you want to learn how to download AtomicDEX, there probably will be like a post in these two languages on the respective blogs. So if you go to blog.komodoplatform.com and you see the language drop down, those two will be covered. And I also think the communities have their own blog posts as well. So they have like specific campaigns. So if they have like some kind of bounty campaign on Telegram or Twitter, then you'll see the information and the details about that in their individual blogs. So these aren't specific to English, but they're actually specific to the various regional communities. And yeah, we're just looking to expand to other languages as well. Yeah, that's definitely something we're going to be doing in the future.
The best way to get started and integrate into the Komodo community is to join our Discord and join all the live stream events and other community programs we will be starting and announcing. So to join this Discord, you can come to our website and you will find the Discord link from the footer, or you can go to komodoplatform.com/Discord. Events are usually listed on the community page. So you go to community from the menu, and then you will see a highlighted post here, highlights the what's going on at the moment. You can find all the info from there. And another thing I would recommend is to click here and sign up to the Komodo newsletter. This is a good way to stay connected on what's going on, and you will learn about the future opportunities and other updates. And you should join our events. We have every Thursday town hall at 4 p.m. UTC. And on a monthly basis, we also do other events, and we are focusing on education and educational content. So if you're new to crypto or blockchain or otherwise interested, then this is the place to be. You can learn more by going to the community page, and then you will find a Komodo handbook link from here. This is an in-depth resource to go through, where you will learn more about our values, vision, the different products and technologies we have, about the KMD. You can learn about and read about our history, where we came from, and then there's a segment on how to get involved. And we are looking to expand this resource in the future, so just bookmark it and read on your own leisure. So to sum it up, just join our Discord, join all the events we do. You can find them from YouTube, and then stay tuned for the internship programs and other community opportunities, as we are looking to work with our community, and most of the team also comes from the community. So we look very much forward to seeing you all on the Komodo Discord.